In this video, I'm going to talk to you about some of the things that I gave up when I stopped working and things that I don't miss at all. If you're new here, welcome. I was a public school teacher for 12 school years, and I quit my job 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I walked away from the career I'd ever known. I walked away from a steady paycheck. I walked away from a steady annual salary. I walked away from the relationships that I built in the workforce. And when I walked away from my job, there were some things that I gave up along with it. So here they are. The first thing I gave up were promotions and annual raises. As a public school teacher, we received at least a 3% annual cost of living raise. And these were raises that everybody looked forward to. However, after I left, it's something that I gave up. I gave up my entire salary. And not only did I give up my entire salary, but I gave up opportunities to be promoted. At one point, I was a department chair, I was a lead teacher, I had all these different titles. I even went to go get my administrative services credential, which if you're in education, you know that this is a credential that allows you to become an administrator. So you can be a vice principal, you can be a principal, and basically just climb that ladder. Well, I gave all of that up. Honestly, the more I tried to climb the ladder, the more I was wanting bigger and better things. I wanted a bigger home to match my job title. I wanted a nicer car to drive to match my job title. And I wanted people to see me as somebody successful. If I had a job title or a position that garnered a little bit more respect than the previous job title, then I felt like I owed it to myself to get nicer things. As a school teacher, I did work about 10 months out of the school year. However, if I wanted to enter into an administrative position, that would require me to work 12 months. And so I didn't think that that was a good trade-off because I would be working more of my time and energy toward a job instead of time for me. I had to step back and I had to look at how much time in a day do I have? How much time in a year do I have? And how much of that am I devoting to my job? How much of that am I devoting to my family? And it became apparent that the more and more I climbed the ladder, the more and more I pushed for promotions and opportunities, I was putting my time and energy into something else other than the most important thing in my life, which is my family. Along with promotions, I found that if I wanted to get a higher title, I needed to go back and get extra certifications, get an extra credential, go back to school essentially for higher education so that I can advance. And to me, after having gotten my master's degree and credential, I felt like I was maxed out on going back for more education. I don't want to take out any more student loans. The second thing that I gave up is twofold. I gave up a steady paycheck and a growing pension. After teaching for 12 years, I left 2 years ago. I had about $63,000 in my pension, and it continues to accrue about $250 per month due to the interest. I haven't decided what to do with that money. I just left it in there. And honestly, I don't really know what to do with it. If I kept it in there and wait until my retirement age, I would probably get about $500 per month according to their calculations. So I don't know. Should I keep it in there? Should I take it? Should I move it? I'm not sure. But as of now, it's in there. If you haven't been following me, I'm just going to recap you really quickly. My husband and I, we would purchase a home fix it up a little bit and move every 2 to 3 years in order to dodge the capital gains tax. And it worked out really nice because each time that we sold our homes, we were able to roll it to the next one. And now we're in a position where I was able to walk away from my job 2 years ago, and I'm creating things. Instead of trading my time and energy for a paycheck, now whenever I have free time, whenever I have a spark of energy or creativity, I can make a YouTube video. I can create PDFs for my teacher's pay teacher account. There are other creative outlets that I'm able to pursue outside of being in the classroom. The third thing that I gave up are colleague and classroom relationships. I mean, I still connect with some of my old colleagues, but I gave that up. I no longer go into work and have day-to-day conversations with other teachers. I gave up talking to people above me and talking to people below me, and this is in terms of job title. I gave up going to evaluations and being prepared for those. I gave up going to meetings, and honestly, I can sleep better at night without those things. Along with that is workplace gossip. Do I miss that? Absolutely not. The fourth thing I gave up is work-related stress. That can be things as simple as having to get up in the morning, get myself dressed, fed, make sure all the kids are fed and they have lunches prepared, sitting through traffic, getting to work. And there are stresses all in between from the moment you wake up to when you set your foot into work. And you don't realize that until you don't work. Finding a parking space. I don't know about you, but it was always hard to find a good parking spot at work. Those were just the little things that stressed me out before work. The fifth thing that I gave up was living in sunny Southern California. My husband and I grew up in Southern California. That's all we've ever known. That's where I lived for 38 years. All of my friends and family, everybody lives in sunny Southern California. We left it for a slower pace of life, for less tax burdens, and for me to quit my job. Honestly, I don't regret it one bit. It is about an 1.5 to 2 hour flight to visit California, and in fact, I've been going back and forth to visit with my parents and my in-laws about every 2 or 3 months. I gave up the diversity in food and people. One thing I do miss is hanging out with our aging parents, hanging out with our aging grandparents who are still alive. Those are things that I do miss. It's not the same as seeing a person face to face, but having our phones and access to FaceTime has made it a little easier for us. The sixth thing that I gave up is having the expectation that success means earning more. I used to think that if I earned a six-figure salary, or if both of us were earning six figures, that we would be successful, that we could afford a nicer house and nicer cars to go with it, that we would be able to afford vacations and just overall live a more happy lifestyle. What I know now is that having freedom of time, having margin in your budget, that is success. Having the time to go to all of your doctor's appointments and even take your loved ones to doctor's appointments. Having margin in your budget so that an emergency is merely an inconvenience. These are freedoms that honestly everyone should strive to have. What good is it if you can afford to give all of your children phones and then at the end of the day not even have a conversation with them? Kids need direction. Kids need a relationship with their parents. And that's something that I learned early on in my teaching career that I get back. This year alone, just a couple of months ago, we lost a friend to colon cancer. He was 36 years old. He left behind 3 young children and a wife. Last month, I lost a coworker that I knew for 13 years. He was an amazing coworker, just so full of fun, always happy, and he had opinions. I didn't always agree with his opinions, but He was just overall a fun person to be around. And he lost his life at 36 years old. At 40 years old, I'm beginning to realize that health is wealth. And once you lose time, you can't ever get it back. Time and time again, I hear former colleagues and even close friends say things like, I wish I could just pick up the phone and call my mom or call my dad or call my friend and let them know what's going on. I wish I can just talk to them. But those people are all gone. Once you lose somebody, they're gone. Until we meet again, they're gone. This realization has taught me to live intentionally, that life is short, life is but a vapor, to soak in every conversation and to savor slow mornings, to enjoy the simple things. If this video resonates with you, subscribe, like, and comment below. I'll see you in the next video.